Wait, you wanna publish this?
XDD racked time.
Hey guys, we're gonna be reading this interview that Yoshi-P just did with JP Games. It's in German, but thank God they translated into English. So obviously we're gonna read the English one. We can barely already understand English, German, completely out of our league, right? But otherwise, hey, thanks for watching this video. We're gonna get right into it. And see what Yoshi-P feels about the current state of the game. Before we begin the video, would like to give a big shout out to the Ko-fi supporters that have been supporting the channel. Every little bit helps, and it's nice to see that some of you are already on it. And if you guys wonder what it is, check in the description below. We have a new video talking about the state and where we are going forward with our YouTube, and you can join our Discord, which is Final Fantasy XIV. Even if you are not a VIP, even if you have no intention to support, it's a Final Fantasy XIV Discord. Join up, get some nice information, drama, whatever it is, and I will see you guys there. Now, without further ado, let's go into the video. English script, JP Games, aka the interviewer. You weren't surprised by the mixed reaction to Dawn Trio, as you said here in Cologne a year ago. Another year has passed since then, and you get... Wait, did I pronounce this town name correct? You have gathered a lot of new feedback. Would you say that everything is going as expected? If Yoshi-P says that everything is expected, he's bullshitting. I don't think he expects Dawn Trio to be so badly received. Wait, I pronounce it better than Zeno? Wait, what did Zeno call it? Zeno pronounced this as Cologne. Are you guys sure that English is your first language? That's America. Colony. Okay, guys, it is not nice to make fun of people's education, okay? Firstly, Final Fantasy XIV is a live service title. It is always the case that we constantly look at player feedback and improvise based on what we see. Of course, from the time of 1 year ago, it's not the case that we will continue our development without referring to the player's response at all. We are consistently adjusting and tweaking, improvising where we can in response to player feedback when we are creating content. Okay, really? Okay, I think they are collecting feedback, 100%. But I think that they are slow in collecting feedback. But at the same time, even if they are fast collecting feedback, there is still time that they have to convert the feedback into content, right? They still have to materialize the feedback to be represented in the content, right? To be seen in the content, right? So, you see, this is a dead horse that I'm cycling back to beat on your patch cycle. Your patch cycle is too long. So when your patch cycle is too long, even if you collect player feedback and even if you're fast collecting feedback, it's gonna take us a long time before we see the feedback turn into something that we want, right? So if I were to give a few examples, Occult Crescent itself got 2 examples. So let's go into example number 1. No field operations in Endwalker. So we feedback that we need field operation. This game needs field operation. This game needs something that we can anybody... You know, like Yoshi-P has been talking about, especially like in the Deep Dungeon, right? In recent live letter, right? In the live letter, he said that he wants to start making content that everybody can do. End game casual. You want to do hardcore hours, you want to do casual hours, you want to do it in a month, you want to do it in a day, you want to do it in a week, you want to do it in a year. You can always do it, right? There's no pressure. There's no like, you won't miss out. It's so FOMO, right? So Occult Crescent, aka field operations are like that, right? You know, you need field operations. You need people to be able to want to do it now, do it later. Level 1 Phantom Job, level 2, level 5, get it done quick, get it done slow, do Fog Tower today, do Fog Tower tomorrow, do Fog Tower 1 year later, right? You want content like this, right? That's why it was feedback. Now, it took us 1 expansion. It took us almost 1.5 years from our initial feedback that we realized, you know, somewhere in Endwalker, we realized that we need field operation, right? So about 1.5 years, it took them about 1.5 years to take this feedback and then make Occult Crescent. So it's like your patch cycle is too long. Your content releases is so long that your feedback translate into reality too slow. So I do believe that they are taking feedback, but it's too slow. He literally said it here, right? You see, from the same time 1 year ago, how he think Dawn Trio is, and now 1 year later, then we see what Dawn Trio become. I think it's a little bit too long, right? There's something that I felt particularly these past 3 months. Ooh. Rather than it being the players of Final Fantasy XIV, I think in terms of the overall world, that what I mean by that is that it's not limited to Dawn Trio, okay? But in terms of the overall base game design for Final Fantasy XIV, I think that there needs to be a restructure of how we approach the content hierarchy in the game design. Because content hierarchy is part of the game design. I started to feel recently particularly that the way that things are structured in 14 no longer matches the player's preferences. And this is something that I started to feel that after we entered this year, so I felt that now we are at a time where we need to incorporate a major change in the content hierarchy and also the game's design. And this is limited to not just to expansion, but the overall development of 14. I don't know why this only took him 11 years, 3 months later to realize this, when honestly, I feel like the problem has already been there since Shadowbringer. Now, we are not just talking about story, we are talking, he's talking about overall, right? He's talking about the overall base game design, right? He's not just talking about MSQ. MSQ, I got no problems. But if you look at all the systems, the jobs, the gearing, especially the gearing, the tomes, the savage, they didn't innovate much. Now, they are consistent though. They put out what needs to be put out though, but it wasn't innovative. And even if it's innovative, it's very limited, right? Like, you know, some ultimates are good, some savages are good, some EX are good, some dungeons are good. The story, obviously great. In Shadowbringer and Endwalker, I think it's great. But it's not all strawberry and roses, you know. There's a lot of miss. In the first 5 years, there is more hit than miss. In the last 5 years, there were more miss than hits. Are we being greedy and critical in that? Yes, because this is a game that goes 10 years. You want it to be better. You expect it to be better. You think that you are more experienced. You think they will be faster. You think they will design faster. You think they'll make content better. So basically, yes. I think it is not unrealistic that we players that have been playing expect more from them. And I think from them, with so much more experience that they learned over the years, yes, they should be better, they should be faster. It's surprised that it took him 11 years to realize this. I feel like Endwalker, Shadowbringer, there was already like some cracks in the wall already, you know? But I feel like they just turned a blind eye because 14 was extremely popular at the end of Shadowbringer. And also COVID. A lot of people is like willing to give a pass. A lot of people understand the problem. Everybody, not just Square Enix. Every game developer in the entire world got a free pass because of COVID, right? That's fine. And then after that, at the end of Shadowbringer, going into Endwalker, we got the World of Warcraft Exodus. The game became the most successful it ever been because the game have gotten almost double the amount of players. But that is not because the content got better. That is not because the game got better. That is just because you get more players. You get more players because of an external factor, not because of an internal factor that your game got better, right? So I think that COVID and the WoW Exodus kind of make Final Fantasy XIV feel like they are doing okay. But the reality is 5 years ago, this game is already a little bit out of touch already with like players' preferences. Again, not just talking about story, talking about the overall game. Okay, I guess it's better late than never that they finally realized, and this is very fresh, right? You see, he said that he only felt these 3 months in the past 3 months, so this is very fresh. Now, here's the thing, because this is so fresh, and like I said earlier, with how long the patch cycle is and how long they take to materialize feedback into the game, when are we gonna see these changes? One expansion later, like, you know what I mean? Like, how... It's nice that you acknowledge it, it's nice that you see it, but how long are we going to wait? But when we look at the current content hierarchy, we feel that it has worked well as of up until now. Okay, a little bit of stretch here, but the only thing that they did right is that there was meat on the table. Every day you go home, you expect the same rice, noodles, one protein, one veggie, and one dessert. So far, they have been putting them out. Right? We are still getting our Savage, we are still getting our Ultimate, we are still getting new content, we get back we are getting back everything. But it's the quality, not just like how good the rate is, not just like how good FRU is or how bad, depending on how you look at it, right? But also the fact that how did field operations introduced like that? Why is the 48-man queue not in there in the first place? The system is already there. Why is entering Fog Tower such a chore? Yes, you've been putting out the content, but there is a serious lack of quality and quality control. A little bit of fast stretch. If he really thinks that he's been doing okay till now, I think it's a little bit of stretch here. He has been employed right back from the time of A Realm Reborn until 7.2, and it's always worked well until now. Okay, it worked until... There's a difference between it worked well until now and it worked until now. There's a difference. Especially in the last 5 years for me. I don't think it worked well. I think it worked. But now I feel we need to advance more. Good. Change the content hierarchy, yes. But also change the design itself within said hierarchy. Good. It has worked well past... oh, it's coping, man. It has worked well in the past 12 years, but now we feel from our perspective it needs to change, and we're excited about that change and prospect of changing it for the future of the game. Okay. Oh, I like how the interviewee is like, okay, cut the crap. Tell me what exactly it means. That sounds very interesting and above all substantial. Could you perhaps explain these changes in a little bit more detail? Yeah, I mean, this is just PR, right? Great opening PR statement, I think. Yeah, this is just PR, right? If I start talking about this, I think it will need 2 hours. Laugh. I talked a little about this in the last live letter. It was in Japanese, but I used some content to explain the first step of this approach. If players have not seen this, I would really appreciate it if they could take the time to watch that. For the first step in that direction, we will be releasing new content patch 7.35. So I would appreciate it if players could take the opportunity to play that content. I think he's talking about Deep Dungeon, right? And I love to hear that feedback. It would be great to hear whether they thought it was fun or not, or whether they have any specific feedback about things they want change. This content that will be coming in patch is, Deep Dungeon. He's probably going to be talking about how one piece of content can be tackled different way, casually to end game, and the content itself has content for casuals and end gamers. Yeah, so this is like a one-in-all content that everybody can do. Everybody can get different reward, and everybody can get different challenge. I think that is the first time they do stuff like this, to be honest. Because usually what they did has been hard mode, extreme. Normal mode, hard mode, extreme, savage. There has never been like within the content that is different layers, right? I feel like I need to emphasize this a little bit because I think a lot of people don't understand the difference. Some of you guys are already thinking it already. I can already tell already. You are probably thinking, wait, Arthars, it already exists. It exists in the form of hard raid and savage raid. No, that's different. Hard mode and savage raid is completely different because they have different reward. And one is for story and one is for challenge. They are different. Even though they are the same aesthetically, they look the same, but they are actually considered different content. Because normal mode is only done for one specific reason. You do it for the story. You do it to unlock Savage. Savage is only done for a specific reason. You only do Savage for challenge and you do Savage for reward. There's no correlation. Normal mode and Savage mode, even though they are the same raid, made into two difficulty, they are separate things. You do it for complete different reason. They are not the same thing. Whereas like Deep Dungeon is, they are the same thing, but you do them in a different way. You can choose to do 0 to 100 and then you get a title. You can do every 20 flaws and then you do it normally. But back then it was if you die, you go back to 0. So now they have checkpoints. You can do it one shot, you can do it separately, or you can just do it 20 each. And if you die, you don't reset. So there's multiple ways to do the same content. The boss is the same. Just that instead of spending 4 hours when you wipe to get back to floor 60, now if you die to floor 60, you start from floor 40 and it takes you less than 20 minutes to get back to 60. So different ways to tackle. Now if you do that, you don't get the reward. You don't get the title. You don't get, maybe you get lesser reward. So same content with multiple ways to do it so that casuals can tackle equally hard content, one shot or progressively. Now, if we talk about like Savage or Extreme, how they should take this system into Savage or, we don't want to talk about Ultimate. Let's just say Savage or Extreme. It would be, if we do it normally, we get 2 tokens. Just like how we do it now, it will be 2 tokens. But if we want to do the progressive mode, so let's just say Extreme Trial got 3 phases. Every 3 phases will have a checkpoint. So you just learn first 3 minutes, second 3 minutes, last 3 minutes. Now, if you clear the fight like that, which is the same fight, by the way, same mechanics, by the way, except with checkpoints, then instead of 2 tokens, you get 1 token. So for Savage, it's the same thing. If you do Savage right now today, you get your package and you get your coffers. But let's just say you do Savage, the progressive mode, where the boss got 2 phases, you get the first 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes, and you clear the fight with the progressive first 5 and last 5 minutes, then you only get half a page. TLDR, you get lesser reward. So that's what they need to do, which they are going to implement in this Deep Dungeon. What they need to do in the future is that every content should have a way for different type of players to tackle. So I think that's what they need to do. You know what I mean? I will try to provide a summary to keep it short. When A Realm Reborn was originally released 12 years ago, of course at the starting point of the game as an MMO, and it's inevitable that there isn't enough content in the game. Actually, I actually think A Realm Reborn got more content in the game. More reason for me to log in every day, do more shit, farm more shit, level more shit, grind more shit than today. A Realm Reborn and Heavensward actually got a lot of reason to stay logged into the game. A lot of reason why you play the game. A lot of reason why you try getting better at the game. Jobs were harder, raids were harder, doing the MSQ was harder, unlocking the Aether current was harder, navigating Azizla was harder, navigating Sea of Cloud was, you know what I mean? More inconvenience, yes, but more things to do. Of course, when we want to introduce new content, we want to introduce and update it as quickly as possible, and in starting this MMO, that is the only thing you can expect to expand it. When we think about how we can efficiently produce content and quickly release it, that forms the basic. By the way, you also made more content back then. We have 3 dungeons back then. We have 3 EX trial back then. We only got 3-month patch cycle back then. And that basically formulates what we call content hierarchy and the base game design of Final Fantasy XIV. I'll explain it in a hopefully easy to follow fashion. At this point, Yoshida helped himself to the switch of the table for illustrative purposes, taking 2 packets of each 3 types of switch. We have hardcore battle content, casual battle content, player content, and midcore content. If you have wait, so you do know that there is midcore content in this game. I would love to hear from Yoshi-P himself what constitutes a midcore content. From the man himself, what is considered midcore? Because as a player myself, I think Savage is midcore. Ultimate is hardcore. I think Extreme is casual. I don't even know what to call 4-man dungeons. Few operations are midcore, but I would love to hear from himself. Chaotic would be between hardcore and midcore. Not just because of the difficulty, but because of the number of people you need to organize. It's like World of Warcraft. Mythic raid is not hard. Individually, Mythic raid is not hard. A Savage raid individually is harder than a Mythic raid. But collectively, a Mythic raid is way harder than a Savage raid. A Mythic raid is as hard as an Ultimate to clear. But Ultimate only requires 8 people. World of Warcraft requires 25, 30. You know what I mean? Like, everybody have a different concept, right? If you have 2 types of each, that means that a total of 6 types of content. Okay. We will release content based on that plan, tailored towards a specific group of players. That means as developers, when we are working on certain type of content, we can think about this content being only for certain type of player. Okay, now see, that's a big mistake. You are wasting time and you're wasting money. You're wasting cost. You are specifically creating content just for one pool of players. That's bad. This is what Square Enix is doing, okay? This is the player base. Now, obviously, within the player base, he himself said that he's considering the player base in 3 forms, right? Casual, midcore, and hardcore. SE dev cycle. So now, at the moment, Square Enix is doing this. They are spending development power to create content for these people. They are creating content for these people. They are then creating content for these people. This is bad. Because now you are separating 3 development time to cater for 3 different type of players, which then means that this player will never play this. This player will never play this. This player will never play this. You are splitting your community. You are splitting your content to your community. That's just bad. What you need to do, right, is that they need to create one content so that everybody can do them. This is why, like, a lot of raiders, we always encourage people to raid. Because raiding is really not hard. Because, okay, let's just say this Savage. Savage is here. Ultimate is here. It is so difficult to convince a casual to do Savage. It's too much for them. They're gonna look at it like, bruh, nah, that's too try hard. It's too... Savage is not difficult. Clearing the first 2 turns of Savage is almost like clearing an EX trial, right? This is EX trial, right? They can do EX trial. Yay, we love EX trial. You know, we love EX trial. Yay, right? But, dude, what if I told you Savage is also clearable if you are casual? Can you full clear the raid here? Probably not. But can you attempt? Can you have fun? Can you improve? Can you clear turn 1 and turn 2 to eventually proc 3? Yes, you can. But the thing is, it's hard for us to do that. Like, as players, as creators, it's hard for us to convince you. Because we understand that, yes, it might be too difficult for you. We understand that. So it's like, we tell you, you don't want, we can't convince you, you ain't want to be convinced, it is what it is. We all just, okay, then cool then, you know. I do my content, you do your content, and you do your content. Usually, the higher up it is, the more we do. Like, Ultimate Raiders will do all 3. Savage Raider will do this too. Casuals only do this one. So that is what it is, right? That's what, at the moment, the game is, right? So that's bad design. That is why this game is struggling with cost, with quality, and with number of content. They need to create more. So, okay, so like Yoshi-P says, you need to make 2 content here. You need to make 2, I mean, he said that, right? I'm quoting him. Total of 6 types of content, okay? So this is how he's thinking. Every type of content we need to design 2 content, 2 content, 2 content. Dude, you need to make 6 content to cater for 3 different type of players. What you need to do, you need to make 1 content that everybody can play. That is what you need to do. So let's just say if you do 2 content, so you are only doing 2 content, but each content is touching on each community, which then means that 2 content is enjoyable by 6 groups of people. Whereas now at the moment, you are making 6 content for 3 groups of people. So if you do this, you can then make 2 content for 6 groups of people. No, that's not hard to do because they are already doing it. And that is why the Deep Dungeon comes in, because that's what Deep Dungeon is about. Casuals can do it 20 floor each, clear the last boss, get their cipher, and then use 15 to clear easy boss, and progressive do 15 or do 45 or do 40. It don't matter. You can do it 1 shot and get your title without death. You can do it solo. You can do it 2-man. You can do it 3-man. You can do it in one go. You can do it every 20 floors. You can do it in one day. You can do it in 1 month. They are no, variant is not. That is what I said earlier. You guys don't understand the difference. Variant criterion is two complete separate content. Normal mode rate and savage rate is two separate content. Whereas deep dungeon, doing it casually, doing it hardcore, 15 cypher, 30, it's all the same content. That's why I said earlier I needed to explain. I need to emphasize because a lot of you guys will not understand that. Yoshi-P is trying to say that now moving forward, instead of making 6 content, he wants to make 1 and everybody can play. And Deep Dungeon is the first one that they ever done. They have never done it before. They have never done it before. I would even say that Chaotic can also be casualized without making it not incentivized. Like for example, what we have in Chaotic right now is a little bit too troublesome. What if Chaotic is separate into 3 phases? If casuals choose the casual mode, they will do phase 1. When they die, they will just start from phase 2. And then when they die, they just start from phase 3. So they can proc 3 phases differently. Now, are you going to get reward? No. You are going to get a orangey chance to get a demi material. That sounds miserable. Yes, but you learned the fight, didn't you? You do the fight, didn't you? You consume the content, didn't you? Now take the next step. Be better. Improve. Do the fight normally. Now you get 2 materials. You do the exact same fight, progressive mode, you get 1 material, but now you do the entire fight, you get the proper reward. 2 material, a chance of minion, a chance of mount, blah, blah, blah. But if you do the progressive mode, the casual mode, you only get 1 material. But it's the same fight. So now you gain confidence. Now you get better. Now you do the fight properly. But it's the same fight. Deep Dungeon is also the same. All 5 bosses are the same. The Quantum boss is the same. You just choose to put in different ciphers. You do a different version of the fight, but the Deep Dungeon itself, floors 0 to 100 is the same. You do it every 20, you do it 1 shot, you do it 1 day, you do it 10 days, don't matter. You can do it casual, you can do it hardcore, don't matter. Right? So Deep Dungeon is the first time they're going to do content like this. But moving forward, they need to consider, they need to change their dev cycle from this to this. They need to repurpose one content to be used in more scenarios. Enjoy the exact same content bite size with lesser reward, but progressively improve. We will broadly categorize the community of players into different groups. Yeah, they say that's bad. And we will plan based on that. See, that's bad. That's why now he's going for a change because he finally understood that this no longer works. This is not good for the players. This is not good enough for his own standard. And this is not good for the health of the developers. That means as developers, when we are working on a certain type of content, we can think about this content being only for a certain type of players. On the other hand, for this type of content points to the hardcore content, when we are producing it, we don't have to think about the casual players. For the past 12 years, we have carried our development based on this policy. Exactly. There you go. He finally identified this problem. You cannot separate your development power just for separate content. You gotta multi-purpose it. That's what World of Warcraft does very good. That is why Mythic Plus is so good. Because Mythic Plus 1 dungeon, the exact same dungeon by the way, can be repurposed into 4 categories. You can do normal dungeon, you can do heroic dungeon, you can do Mythic dungeon, and then you can do Mythic Plus. And within the Mythic Plus, you got 1 FX, 2 FX, 3 FX, 5 FX. That's what World of Warcraft does really good. World of Warcraft, 1 dungeon, literally cater to everybody. They do so much. Now, this is also the same for WoW Raid. You got LFG, you got normal, you got heroic, and then you got mythic. Every player can enjoy the same exact fight. Now, obviously, they add 1 mechanic, add 1 mechanic, add 2 mechanic, add 3 mechanic. Something like that. TLDR. Obviously not fully accurate, but you get what I mean. Now, WoW only spend time doing 1 raid. But WoW spend time doing a lot of dungeon. Because now instead of WoW making 2 content just for hardcore, making 2 content just for midcore, making 2 content just for casual, now WoW can make 1 raid for everyone. And now they have more development power. They can make 4 dungeons. They used to make 8 dungeons. WoW don't even make 8 dungeons anymore. WoW only do 4 dungeons. Because the other 4 dungeons, they use it from previous expansion. Like WoW is actually min-maxing their development to cater to as much people as possible. Final Fantasy XIV is very specifically creating X amount of content. Oh, if you're Savage, Savage is not for you. If you're Ultimate, wow, it's not even for midcore. You know what I mean? Like, they are making content too specific for one particular audience. They need to make content for everybody. Hopefully, moving forward, they will do the same for existing content. Now, again, like I said, feedback. I think feedback will be good. I think this deep dungeon feedback will be very good. But the thing is, how long does the feedback gonna take them, and how long are they gonna take to make it happen for most content? 1 year, 2 years? one expansion. We continue to follow this policy and to provide one example from the casual player's perspective. From their perspective, even if this content, the hardcore content, is implemented in the game, it's almost the same as being non-existent to them. Yeah, this might be one of the best diagrams I ever put out. Casuals don't see this. So to you as a casual, Final Fantasy XIV is only this. If you are a mid-core player that don't do Ultimate, you will look at Square Enix and Final Fantasy XIV as this. Even if you don't do it, Ultimate is a great content to just watch, to just listen to just hear people talk about. No. If I'm a mid-core player and I don't even do Ultimate, it's almost as if it doesn't exist. So Final Fantasy XIV is only this. Ultimate is very difficult to make. Probably the most creative shit I ever seen any game developers done, right? Mr. Ozma and his team's talent is through the roof. But if you don't do it, you don't know about it, you don't care about it, it's almost as if Mr. Ozma don't exist. It's almost as if Square Enix most talented developers is not working on your game. So I kind of feel like that's bad. That's wasting talent, that's wasting time, that's wasting cost. And therefore, you need to make a content so that every players will see this. That's what they are trying to do, and that's what they need to do. On the flip side, from a hardcore player's perspective, that content, the casual content, is also non-existent. Okay, this one is a bad example. Hardcore players do everything. Hardcore players do fishing. Hardcore players do gathering. Hardcore players Omnicraft. Hardcore players ERP. Hardcore players download man, you know what I mean? Hardcore players do everything. It's more about the perspective that casuals don't see hardcore content as content. So this policy we had went well. But I could say that it went too well because now we have created so much content that the players are telling us, oh, this content has nothing to do with me, I don't care. Yup, that's true. So what I want to say is that, of course, for the top tier players, we know that content tailored towards them is needed. And we will continue to produce that content, pointing at one of the hardcore suites. And on the other side of the spectrum, for the really casual players, we also understand that content is also needed. And we will continue to produce that. So we will continue to tailor content for both ends of the spectrum. What we are trying to do though, now is to change the design so that we have content which can be enjoyed by everyone. Yeah, so he now sort all of the... Okay, so now he sorts all the suites together. Yes. So now Yoshi-P is trying to mix this suite together. So these were the 3 different suites that Yoshi-P was talking about. And now Yoshi-P wants to mix them together. So from this player's perspective, pointing at hardcore and casual hardcore player, there will be 5 types of content. And for the other players, casual players, there are also 5 types of content. And so simply put, that's it. Thank you. Yeah, good. No. Good. Very good visual. I mean, I can visualize it based on words, man. Yeah, that's what they should do. Yeah. I try to explain it really simple, but what I was trying to do will require us approaching all of the design and also changes in the workflow. Yes. Yeah, there needs to be some... I think internally they need to do something. The development team needs to be given a nudge. Right now, it's all over the place. At the moment, it's all over the place. If Square Enix needs to delay the next expansion, and if Yoshi-P needs to put out one more patch to sort this shit out, they need to do it. Because this game now has more problems than solutions. And I think that since we are doing something new, it is necessary for us to move forward. And at this prospect, I'm super excited. Yeah. But this total concept of what we are doing, there's so much behind that if there was an opportunity to go to some sort of games conference and maybe spend 2 hours talking about it, that would be great. Yeah, guys, you don't have to attend a Yoshi-P conference. All you need to do is do me a favor, like this video, give the channel a subscribe, and also support the channel more. And we can do content like this that doesn't need a 2-hour conference. Chop. Probably edited by my editor, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, bam, you get it. And even better, it comes with some really awesome MS Paint work. So what are you guys waiting for? Consider support the channel, but most importantly, click the subscribe button. Players don't really need to think about it that much. All they need to know is that the development team is working on something. And of course, that if players will be interested and motivated to provide us their feedback, that would be great. Okay, personally, this is nice, but I thought there would be more. When I read the headlines, right, I thought he will be talking about gearing also. I thought that he will be talking about tomes. I thought he will be talking about rewards. I thought he will be talking about jobs. Like, this 2-minute meta no longer works. We want to change. This current tombstone system doesn't work. We need to change, But it's mainly just content. I mean, first steps, I guess. I don't think they can do everything at one go. And I think that they're already doing something for jobs already, right? He's been talking about it multiple times already. So I think maybe he doesn't need to reiterate here. So jobs, I think we will see something different. Might be better, might be worse, I don't know. Might be Viper, might be Picto, might be Summoner, might be Dark Knight. So we don't know. But I think jobs, they're already cooking. So it's nice to hear that at least content-wise, they are doing something. And I mean, let's be honest, right? In less than 1 month, we will be seeing it. That means they've been thinking about this for a while. Because this deep dungeon surprised me. The live letter of this deep dungeon, I legit thought I would fall asleep. But then they surprised us with like a lot of changes, systematical changes. The content is catered for everyone, and then we get Quantum, aka 4-man ultimate-ish. So I'm actually very surprised. Let's hope this first iteration of this philosophy works, and hopefully 8.0 we see more, right? Now, again, back to point number 1 at the beginning of the video. It needs to be faster. We cannot wait 1 year, 9 months, an expansion to see a change. As a selfish customer, I need it fast. As an understanding player, you need to take time. But you need to find the in-between. You need to find the best compromise. You need to sort out your internal workflow to make that happen. So hopefully they can do that. As Dawn Trail is going to the bad direction in terms of what we are seeing, internally and development-wise, it does seem that, at least based on this article and based on Yoshi-P himself, it does seem that there is a plan. We always thought there was no plan, but there is a plan, thank God. They have been doing plan A for the last 12 years already. We've been thinking that all we are going to settle for this game forever is plan A. But it does seem that we are going into plan B. So that's good, that's nice. Anyway, enough yapping. Is there something that I missed that you think that I should talk about it? Leave it in the comment section below. Remember to drop the channel a like, subscribe, join our new Discord in the video description below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. That's it.